Oh, 30 cat nap today?
Yeah.
Actually, a little bit longer today. Right on, guys. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I have a place to sleep a week. That was a long morning.
Hey, no, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Several guys that do that.
This is
You do that? But you should go home and take
Oh, yeah. LBJ is picking up every day. From like 3 to 4.
Sometimes I.
Yeah. Yeah.
How are you doing? We did. Welcome to the mid-August meeting. Hope everybody enjoyed the little bit of rain we got today. We'll call the meeting to order. We do have a quorum. We declare it open. I'll ask Deputy Mayor Darren Holman to lead us in the pledge and invocation.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lord in heaven, we come to you today with our heads bowed and our hearts humble, thanking you for all that you do. Thanking you for giving us the opportunity to make decisions that's positive for the city of Sherman. Lord, I want to continue to bless our first responders as they make it home safe and continue to do the work that they do. As everyone depart this building today, Lord, I pray that everyone makes it home safe. In your name we do pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you for that. Okay, this time, approve the minutes. Everybody have an opportunity to review the minutes.
Second.
Okay, motion, a couple of seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, council. All right, at this time, we'll take citizen comments on items in the agenda. Is anybody here to address the council this evening? If not, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Remember, we've got these in two parts. First part is regular consent. Second part is consent with staff review. So C1, consent agenda. These items are considered to be routine and will be enacted in a motion without discussion unless a council member or a citizen requests a specific item to discuss and vote on separately. The consent agenda includes items H4 and I4. Anyone like to spoke apart for any reason?
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, we are to C2. We are going to remove I5 from the consent agenda because this item is in Blaylock. So we will take it in order when we get to it. So double asterisk items are considered to be routine and will be enacted in one motion, subject to staff review letter without discussion unless a council member or citizen requests a specific item be discussed and voted on separately. Consent agenda to be approved subject to staff review letter includes items I6, I7, I8, I9, and I10. We need to break those apart for any reason.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve double asterisk consent agenda item less I5.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor? All right, at this time, we'll go to public hearing. One capital improvement program 2021 through 2026. Mary?
Yes, this is the capital improvement program that incorporates the changes made to the program as a result of the CIP workshop that was held on May 27th. The first year is the only year that's funded as part of the 2022 operating budget, which is the next agenda item. After the public hearing later on, the agenda will, the council will be asked to approve the program by resolution.
Okay. Thank you, Mary. Is there anyone here to address this item this evening? If not, Linda, will you read D2 for us, please?
Ordinance 6401, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sherman providing for the appropriation of funds for operating and capital expenditures for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2021 and ending September 30th, 2022. Providing for repealer, finding that the meeting at which this ordinance is passed was noticed and is open to the public as required by law.
Okay, thank you, Linda. Mary?
Yes, this is the final step to adopt the fiscal year 2022 budget. The budget is unchanged from the one from the public hearing that was held at our last meeting on August 2nd. It includes appropriations of about $125.1 million, which is an increase from last year, but mostly due to about $40 million in capital expenditures. A separate vote will be held tonight on the adoption of the budget.
Thank you, Mary. Is there anyone here to address this item this evening? Linda, will you read D3 for us, please?
Ordinance 6402, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sherman providing for the levy of ad valorem taxes for the City of Sherman, Texas for the tax year 2021, distributing the same among various funds, providing for a penalty and interest for failure to pay the taxes levied within the time provided by law, providing for a lien on all real and personal property to secure payment of taxes due thereon, providing a penalty clause, savings repealing clause, severability clause, and an effective date. Finding that the meeting at which this ordinance is passed was noticed and is open to the public as required by law.
Thank you, Linda. Mary?
This is the required public hearing to adopt the budget for our fiscal year 2022. The actual rate of 48.9 cents is unchanged from last year. The rate is broken down into two components, the debt rate, which is about 18 cents, and the operating rate, which is almost 31 cents. A separate vote will be held tonight on the adoption of the tax rate.
Thank you, Mary. Is there anyone here to address this item this evening? Not Linda, you'll read D4 for us, please.
Ordinance 6403, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sherman ordering an election of the qualified voters of the City of Sherman, Texas on the second day of November 2021 for the purpose of electing a mayor and 2 at-large city council members for said city, providing that said election shall be held jointly with Mason County, Texas, designating election precincts, appointing election officials, providing for notice of said election, providing for the use of direct recording electronic voting equipment, providing for early voting, finding that the meeting at which this ordinance is passed was noticed and is open to the public as required by law.
Thank you, Linda.
And this ordinance meets the state requirement for calling the election for November 2nd.
Thank you. Is there anyone here to address this item this evening? I'm just not used to calling you, but for both items. Okay, if you'll read D5 for us, please.
Ordinance 6404, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sherman reappointing a presiding municipal court of record judge and an alternate municipal court of record judge for the City of Sherman, Grayson County, Texas. Finding that the meeting at which this ordinance is passed was noticed and is open to the public as required by law.
Yes, every 2 years, the city is required to appoint a municipal judge in odd numbered years. We are asking to reappoint Scott Smith as our presiding judge and Holly Cox as our alternate judge. Judge Smith presides over the criminal court proceedings and Judge Fox presides over our civil court proceedings such as substandard structures and custody.
Is there anyone here to address this item this evening? Linda, if you read D6 for us, please.
Ordinance 6405, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sherman amending Chapter 3 of the Code of Ordinances entitled Building Regulations at Article 3.06 entitled Housing Code, Division 2, entitled Dangerous Buildings, at Section 3.06.015 entitled Order to Abate, providing for inclusion in the Code of Ordinances, providing a repealing clause, a severability clause, and a penalty clause, providing a penalty not to exceed $2,000. Finding that the meeting at which this ordinance is passed was noticed and is open to the public as required by law.
Thank you. Chip? Come on up.
Mayor and council, this is just a revision to the current ordinance that we already have. In going through this, you kind of learn as you go and you find weak points in your substandard structural ordinance, and we found one just recently. So I visited with our city attorney, Mr. Pittman, and we came to a conclusion to amend this ordinance to take out 2 sections in it and just do away with it. Creates a legal loophole. That's what it does.
All right. Thank you, Chip. Is there anyone here to address this item this evening? Linda, D7 for us, please.
Ordinance 6406, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sherman amending Section 12, ordinance number 2280, so as to include certain property within the R1 one-family residential district located at 813 East Pecan Street, being 0.122 acres in the J.B. McInerney Survey, abstract number 763. Also being a part of Lot 6 and Lot 7, Lot 14 of Chapin's First Edition, to Hesse Investments LLC owner and Helvey Wagner Surveying Incorporated surveyor. Providing a penalty not to exceed $2,000, providing a repealing savings clause, severability clause, and an effective date. Finding that the meeting at which this ordinance is passed was noticed and is open to the public as required by law.
Thank you, Linda. Rob?
Yeah, Mayor and Council, this item is for a rezoning from C1 to R1 so that the applicant can build a single family residence on this lot. Planning and zoning approved the zone change 6-0.
Thank you, Rob. Is there anyone here to address this item this evening? If not, Linda, if you'll read D8 for us, please.
Ordinance 6407, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sherman amending Chapter 10 of the Code of Ordinances, City of Sherman, Texas, entitled Subdivision Regulations, Article 10.05, entitled Subdivision Ordinance, at Exhibit A, entitled Subdivision Ordinance, and Chapter 14 of the Code of Ordinances, City of Sherman, Texas, entitled Zoning Ordinance, Article 14.04, entitled General Zoning Ordinance, at Exhibit A, entitled General Zoning Ordinance, providing for inclusion in the Code of Ordinances, modifying certain regulations relating to the development application and processing procedures for platting and site plan approval, providing a repealing clause, a severability clause, and a penalty clause, providing a penalty not to exceed $2,000, finding that the meeting at which this ordinance is passed was noticed and is open to the public as required by law.
Thank you, Linda. Rob?
Yeah, Mayor and Council, this item is to amend two chapters in our Code of Ordinances, the subdivision ordinance and also the zoning ordinance. As a result of House Bill 3167, also known as a shot clock ordinance. This House bill came into effect in September 1st, 2019, and we haven't really needed to respond or react to that until recently. We had a plat that came in after our deadline, but before the 30-day requirement. And we were in a situation as staff where we had to figure out if we just automatically approve this and send this to council, or if we have to deny it. So met with Ryan, our legal counsel, and we've updated the ordinance to be able to react to that and to make the changes that we need in those subdivision ordinance and the zoning ordinance to change to essentially react to that 30-day shot clock.
Very good. Thank you, Rob. Is there anyone here to address this item this evening? If not, we'll close the public hearing and we'll deal with the other business at hand. We've got a motion to vote for providing the ratification of the property tax increase. Mary?
Yes, the local government code requires a separate vote to ratify the budget if the budget will raise more property tax revenue than in the prior year. So this other business item accomplishes that. So we would need a motion and a record vote on this item.
Okay, so record vote means we raise it again. All right, so I guess we need a motion on this item.
I move that the property tax rate be increased by the adoption of the tax rate of 48 cents, which is effectively a 6.2% increase in the tax rate.
Second.
Yeah, just to clarify the motion, that would be a motion to ratify the property tax rate in item E1, is that correct?
Yeah.
G2.
E1.
Okay, so we have a motion.
So still second.
No, this is a wrong item, I'm afraid. Yeah.
Yeah, so,
So then G2.
so just to clarify, so the E1 item does not require specific language in the motion. And so if that's what the item is that you're interested in voting on, you could just simply say, I move to ratify the property tax increase as stated in E1.
I move to ratify the property tax increase, item E1.
Okay, motion second. Council, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, G1. Providing for the appropriation of funds for operation and capital expenditures for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2021 and ending September 30th, 2022.
Is that?
We need a motion vote.
This one doesn't require the special language either.
Okay.
Second.
I was gonna say, I was waiting to see.
It was a
Okay.
motion and second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
One votes. Thank you, council. Okay.
Mayor, did you vote on that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now you're on.
Now you're up, buddy.
Okay.
Okay, under your HC2.
Ordinance 6402, an ordinance of the city council of the city of Sherman providing for the levy of ad valorem taxes for the city of Sherman, Texas for the tax year 2021, distributing the same among the various funds, providing for a penalty and interest for failure to pay the taxes levied within the time provided by law, providing for a lien on all real and personal property to secure payment of taxes due thereon, providing a penalty clause, savings clause, repealing clause, severability clause, and an effective date. Finding that the meeting at which this ordinance is passed was noticed and is open to the public as required by law.
I move that the property tax rate be increased by the adoption of the tax rate of 48%, which is effectively a 6.2 increase in the tax rate.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, council. Okay, now we're going to consider the adoption of ordinance numbers 6403, 6405, 6406, and 6407. Council, what say you? Questions, discussions?
If there's no discussion, I'll make a motion that we adopt 6403, 6404, 6405, 6406, and 6407.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, council. All right. Moving here to item H1, proposed resolution 6764, approving and adopting a 5-year capital improvement program for the city of Sherman, Texas. Mary?
Yes, this is the vote to adopt the capital improvement program that we had the public hearing on earlier in the meeting.
Thank you, Mary. Council?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? There's, thank you, council. Linda, if you will read H2 for us, please.
Resolution 6765, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Sherman authorizing execution of an agreement with Sherman Federal Courthouse Square LLC under the City of Sherman's Central Business District Historic Building Restoration and Improvement Grant Program for improvements to 300 North Travis Street. Finding that the meeting at which this resolution is passed was noticed and is open to the public as required by law.
Thank you. Terrence?
Mayor, council, every year you all approve money to go into the facade grant for downtown Sherman. And so the applicant at this location would like to request about $25,000 for ADA compliant elevator to go into that facility. And though it's not a facade, part of the grant can be used for that purpose. And we do have the applicants here tonight if they want to speak on this.
We're at the end of the fiscal year and there's no one else asking for this money. This is the money that we still have allocated for this, and September 1st would start a new one anyway.
Correct. Yeah, so we'll have another $25,000 left until the end of the fiscal year.
Correct. Move to approve.
Real quick, I don't have an objection with this at all, but I am curious about the language of the facade. So should we remove that going forward, or, I mean, that was always my thought of the intent of the money was for
Exterior.
exterior beautification and things like that. And so, again, I'm not opposed to this. It's just,
Well, it's my understanding that when the language was put in, because the downtown buildings are older buildings, that was one of the items that was left in for ADA compliant
okay.
elevators and things like that, improvements.
Good.
So, I mean, it's up to you all if you want to remove that, but
No, I mean, I just think it'd probably be a little clarification going
Clarification.
forward. If that's, we're not going to require, we're calling it the facade grant.
okay,
So maybe we call it the improvement grant.
okay, we can clean up the language.
I'll make a second.
Okay, motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Linda, if you'll read H2 for us, please.
Resolution 6766, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Sherman authorizing execution of a professional engineering services agreement with DNS Engineering Labs LLC for construction materials testing services for Bel Air Village Phase 1, Bel Air Boulevard Phase 1, and Legacy Waterline Phase 1. Finding that the meeting at which this resolution is passed was noticed and is open to the public as required by law.
Thank you. Glenn?
Every development that involves public infrastructure requires testing and inspection, and we typically do that administratively. This project is over the $50,000 contract level, which is why it's being brought to you guys. The Bel Air subdivision is about 3 times larger than our typical subdivisions. This contract is for $93,000, and it's a third party that we're using. It is funded by the 4% testing inspection review fee that we collect for each subdivision. And on Friday, they did deliver that check for $246,000 to help supplement the cost of staff time and then any other third party requirements to ensure that they build the public infrastructure up to our standard.
Thank you, Glenn. Council, any questions on this item?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Mayor Plummer, can we just say thank you for considering our proposal, and we're going to take our.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for coming. Yes. Appreciate y'all being
Thank
here.
you so much. And everybody can see Bill.
Very good, thank you. Council leader to I1, consider scheduling a joint meeting of the city council and Sherman Independent School District Board of Trustees for Monday, August 25th, 2021, at 12 p.m. for a strategic planning session. Go ahead.
So the superintendent and Robbie, in discussion with a lot of development going on around Sherman, decided that it was important that we have a joint meeting together. We typically do this once a year around this time anyways, but we've got a lot of stuff going on, and so we recommend to set up the meeting for October the 25th, which is a Monday at lunch. And then the staff of both SISD and Sherman will come up with the agenda on specific items.
Will that be held here?
I believe it's going to be held at the administrative building for Sherman ISD.
Very good.
I make a motion that we schedule a joint meeting with on October 21st, 25th, 25th. Second.
Motion in second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, Linda, if you were in I2 for us, please.
Site plan approval and exception under ordinance number 2252, Article 4, Section 410, 2A, 2GI, 2J, and Section 510 to allow police department headquarters with an 85-foot setback in lieu of the required 100-foot required from any road, street, or arterial highway in the Blaylock Industrial Park, being 10 acres in the Elizabeth Jones Survey, abstract number 62, located at 2600 West Travis Street.
Thank you, Linda. Rob?
Yeah, Mayor, Council, this item is for site plan approval in the Waylock Industrial Park as is required by our ordinance. They're also requesting an exception for 85 feet in lieu of the required 100 feet, as Linda explained. Planning and Zoning Commission voted to approve the site plan and exception 6-0.
Thank you, Rob. Council? Questions, discussion?
Move to approve.
Second.
All right, motion, a couple of seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. Thank you, Council. Linda, if you read I3 for us.
Site plan approval, exception and variance under ordinance number 2252, Article 4, Section 410, 2A, 2G1, 2J, and Section 510 to allow 903 Brewers Restaurant, Brewery, Warehouse, Grain Silos, and Outdoor Patio with a 57-foot setback from the east property line in lieu of the required 100-foot required from any road, street, or arterial highway in the Blaylock Industrial Park, 1.1 FM Highway 1417 Overlay District, being Lot 1, Block 2, Northgate Business Park, Phase 1. Economic Development, Sherman Economic Development Corporation owner, 903 Brewers, proposed tenant, and Ashley Johnson, method architect representative, located at 3232 Northgate Drive.
Rob?
Yeah, this is also, like the police department, this is for site plan and an exception for the setbacks on Northgate for 903 Brewers. 903 Brewers is wanting to do a warehouse, brewery, restaurant, and I believe the manufacturing, the creation of their product there.
Brewing, I think that
We're working with them on plotting the property and dedicating a portion of along 1417 for textile right of way. Their site includes about 5.11 acres on the corner of Northgate and 1417. The applicants are here. Ken Sharp is also here from Sedco that is involved in this project as well. If you have any questions for them, they're here. P&Z approved it 6-0.
Okay, thank you, Rob. Council?
Move to approve. Second.
Motion is second. Do we have any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Council. All right, Linda, if you'll read I5 for us, please. This is the item separated by consent.
Site plan approval and variance under ordinance number 2252, Article 4, Section 410, 2J, and 2G2, and ordinance number 2280, Section 6.13.7, subsection 7, for Domino's Pizza with drive-through with a 26-foot setback from the south property line in lieu of the required 55.7 foot in the Blaylock Industrial Park, Blaylock Commercial Overlay District, being lot 26, lot 2, at Sherman Crossroads, phase 2, lots 25, 26, and 27, lot 2. A replat of Sherman Crossroads, phase 2, lot 6, block 2, PAGA Limited Owner, BWG Architect, and KRG Civil Engineers Incorporated, Civil Engineer, located at 3260 South US Highway 75.
Thank you, Linda. Bob?
Again, Blaylock Industrial Park, site plan approval, variance on setback on the south property line. Any questions? Planning and zoning approved at 6-0.
Council?
Is this consistent with the other setbacks that are being done in that same area?
All of the other restaurants in the area have received the same, not the exact same distance, but the same south side setback for that.
Okay, so it is there, it's gonna, I know this sounds strange, but look consistent.
It will, yes.
Okay, thank you.
So, technically, everything over in this area is still in the Blaylock, right?
That's correct.
So we'll have to do this for everything else that comes to it.
The Blaylock Industrial Park ordinance makes it so that any site that comes in needs to get your approval on that.
And it's time to change.
Well, it's about full now.
How many more lots are out there?
Well, there's the man.
There can be more.
There's the man. How many we got left?
Too many, huh?
Well, as far as 75 frontage, you approved a replat on the lot north of McDonald's, which we're planning and hoping to begin construction on that by the end of this year. It'll be a multi-tenant strip center. Then north of that, we have another restaurant group we've been in discussion with for that lot, which is the name you'd be familiar with. And then at the corner of West Travis and Crossroads, that's 3 acres. And we're hoping in the future to have a pharmacy and a multi-tenant strip center on that lot. So I think the issue is really with these fast food restaurants, the side yard setback with 55 plus feet required is just not realistic when you're looking at a drive-through. So I think you're likely to have a few more, but not a whole lot.
Thanks.
I move to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. All right, moving down to media questions. I guess the media is leaving. All right, we are at council comments. I started with you last time, didn't I?
I have no comments, Mr. Mayor.
No comment.
No comment.
No comment, Mr. Mayor.
No comment?
No comment.
Okay. So, a couple of announcements. Just 4 weeks away from the 40th annual Sherman Market Fest on September 18th. We're expecting more than 120 vendors and live music and activities for the kiddos. So be sure to come out and be a part of that. On September 25th and 26th, the Sherman Celtic Festival will be moving to Congrove Park. Games for the whole family, Highland Games, bagpipe competition, live music on 2 stages, Viking Village, and a lot more. And finally, Sherman Chamber of Commerce will hold their annual legislative election this year at Austin College on October 2nd. The event will be live and in person. So get your tickets at shermanchamber.us.
Gotta let Robbie say a word. Radio check.
You hear, Robbie?
Come on,
Mic check, mic check.
You look like a Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
All right, so
It's kind of nice. You got through quicker.
So city council will now hold a closed executive session pursuant to the Texas Open Meetings Act in section 551.074 to discuss the annual performance evaluation of the city manager, and in section 551.087 to receive a presentation from Ivy Group on the Sherman Hospital project and to discuss economic development projects. So 5:32 will dismiss into executive session. Thank you.
Mayor, the stone was found outside on the chairs. There it is. Okay. Well, they're gonna take care of it.
All right.
Thank you, Chief.
Gotta have that, man.
No overtime for that.
That's all we're talking about.